Welcome once again to QOD. Today's QOD for 1620 involves a wrench, a building, and a cop. Magister saw a wrench get knocked off a joist from a new high-rise under construction downtown. Being the kind soul he is, he wanted to return the wrench to its owner, but he could not tell which floor the owner was working on. From the construction plans, which Magister happened to be in possession of, he knew that each floor was 3.27 meters tall. A nearby police officer was scanning for speeders with a radar gun and recorded the wrench hitting the ground at 35.83 meters per second. To which floor should he return the wrench? Okay, so here we are with our wrench and cop and building problem. Let's start with a little bit of a picture. Now we have a building under construction, and we saw a wrench. There we go. There's my approximation of a wrench. Fall from the building and hit the ground. We happen to have had a police officer nearby scanning for traffic with his radar gun, and he says that the wrench hit the ground at 35.83 meters per second. So we know VF, 35.83 meters per second. We know VO because it was knocked off. That means it was sitting still and then it began to fall. So we're going to call that 0 meters per second. We, of course, know gravity, or acceleration, 9.81 meters per second squared. And we have this other number, which we've never talked about before, called the size of the building. Well, let's see. Like the building is 3.27 meters per floor, because it says each floor is 3.27 meters high. Now, we've never had an equation where we used floor as a unit, but let's see if we can make this work. We know VF, we can ignore VO, we know G, and that's really all we know. Now, several people have tried to use this formula, VF equals VO AT plus AT. And that requires time. We don't have time anywhere in this equation. So if you're trying to use this equation, bad news, that's not going to work. So we need to use the other one. VF squared equals VO squared plus 2AD. Well, let's do a little bit of algebra, because we want to isolate and come up with the distance the wrench fell. Once we know the distance, we can figure out which floor it came from. Well, we know VO is going to be 0, so really we can just cancel that out. And we have 2AD. Well, if we divide by 2A on both sides, that's going to isolate D. So we're going to end up with VF squared over 2A equals D. We know VF, we know A, and 2 is just a number, so we can throw that in there. So let's see, 35.83 meters per second, all of this squared, divided by 2 times 9.81 meters per second squared. Okay, what's that going to leave us with? Well, when we square meters and seconds, we get meters squared per second squared. So that's going to be meters squared per second squared, all that divided by meters per second squared. Okay, we can inverse and multiply, or we can take the fractions as they are, however you want to do it. What that's going to result in is the seconds canceling out and 1 of the meters canceling out, giving us an answer in meters. Does that make sense for a problem? It's a good start. It's not going to give us the floor, but it's going to give us something we can convert to a number of floors. So let's grab the Cheetalator and see what we come up with. Again, you need to practice with your calculator to see if you get the same answers. 35.83 squared divided by 2 divided by 9.81. Or you could do divided by parentheses 2 times 9.81. And I get this number 65.432, blah, 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 goes on for a very long time. Now, I'm not going to take that out of the calculator. I'm going to leave it right there. But this number is how far the wrench fell. We don't want to know how far it fell. We want to know what floor it came from, because I want to go back up the elevator and return that wrench. So let's do a conversion. 3.27 meters per floor. Well, if it went 65 meters, I can take this 65.43 and so on meters. If we divide them, floor comes to the top, and I'm going to end up with an answer in floors. So 65, 43, 266, 565 goes on from there, divided by 3.27, and I get 20.0099 and so on. Well, so that rounds out to 20.01 floors. Now, I've been in a lot of buildings in my life, and I've never seen a building that had part of a floor. You can only have a whole floor. So, where should Magister go? Magister should go to the 20th floor. All right, I hope that works out for you. Guys, have a great weekend. Monday, we'll do self-care checkup. I want to know how you are and what you're doing. If you need something, please feel free to email me. I will check it throughout the weekend. Have a great day. Magister out.